NLE Common Board Questions Exam 2020. Please take note, guys. Autonomy is a freedom to choose. Beneficence, do only what's good. Respect privacy. Non-maleficence, do no harm. Example, side rails up. Veracity, tell the truth. Justice, be fair. Fidelity, keep your word. Keeping promises, loyalty. Midwifery ethics, the code governing the nurse behavior, especially towards patients, employing authority, and to the profession. Also, beneficence, any actions that would benefit others. The principles that imposes upon the practitioner to seek the good for the patients under all circumstances. Beneficence also connotes positive action toward preventing or removing harm and promoting good, such as one oath to prevent evil or harm, one oath to remove evil or harm, one oath to do or promote good. Non-maleficence state that idea to refrain from inflicting harm, one oath not to inflict evil or harm. The admonition of non-maleficent is stated in the negative manner, while the beneficence is in the positive. Justice, the basic principle that deals with fairness, just deserts, and entitlement in the distributions of goods and services. Some methods of distributing goods and services in our society are as follows: to each an equal share, to each according to need, to each according to effort, to each according to distribution, to each according to merit, to each according to ability to pay. Autonomy. In healthcare, it means that form of personal liberty where the individual is free to choose and implement one's own decisions, free from deceit, duress, constraints, or coercion. There's three basic elements involved: ability to decide, power to act upon your decisions, a respect for the individual autonomy of others. Stewardship refers to the actions made for by the health practitioner in behalf of the patient and for the greater benefit of the patient. Truth telling, veracity. The patient must tell the truth in order that appropriate care can be provided. The health practitioner needs to disclose factual information so that the patient can exercise personal autonomy. Confidentiality is also known as privileged communication, which refers to any information obtained by the nurse or the health team during the course of caring for the patient. The information gathered may only be disclosed under the following. Number one, the patient agrees to divulge such information with written consent. Number two, the information is material and a criminal case investigation. Number three, if public safety is jeopardized, communicable disease. Number four, such information is relevant to his care to be utilized by other health team. Privileged communication may be divided into two classes. One, absolute privileged communication is one made in the interest of the public service or the due administration of justice and is practically limited to legislative and judicial proceedings and other actions of the state. Number two, qualified privilege communication is a slanderous statement uttered in good faith and made on a proper occasion from a proper motive based upon a probable cause and in honest belief that such statement is true. Moral principles. The golden rule. Do unto others what you would like others do unto you. It is a basic moral principle that if you want others to respect you, you must also you must also accord respect to them. The twofold effect is facing a situation which would have good and bad effects requires the following basis for arriving at a decision. A. That the action must be morally good. B. That the good effect must be willed and the bad effect merely allowed. C. The good effect must not become from an evil actions but from initial actions self-directly. And the D. That the good effect must be greater than the bad effect. The principles of totality states that the whole is always greater than its parts. To save the patient's life as a whole, it is justified under this principle to surgically cut off a diseased body part of the patient. Epicya. Exemptions to the general rule. It is reasonable presumptions that the authority making the law will not wish to bind a person in some particular case, even though the case is covered by the letter of the law. If a mentally ill patient becomes berserk and the doctor could not be contacted, the patient may be restrained by virtue of epicure. Another example of this is allowing a relative to see a seriously ill patient who expresses the desire the relative, although it is not yet visiting hours. The end does not justify the means. Giving a sleeping tablet to a chronically ill person so he and she or she can be in peace is morally wrong. The greatest good for the greatest number. During an epidemic, immunization against communicable diseases is administered to the people. Although there may be some who may have slight reactions to the vaccine, the greater majority of the population shall be considered. No one is held to the impossible. The doctors and the nurses are not guarantors of life. They cannot be held liable as long as they have done everything that modern medicine can afford to save a patient from dying. The morality of cooperation. Formal cooperation is an evil act is never allowed. A nurse shall not participate upon immoral operation such as abortion, even if the doctor commands it. Principle relating to the origin and destructions of life. Mercy killing or euthanasia is not allowed because it will lessen the incentive to medical research. The state recognizes the sanctity of life. It shall protect the life of the mother and the unborn since conception. Any direct attack on the life of a fetus, for whatever cause, is immoral. A fetus shall be buried in consecrated grounds. If it is dead and came from dead mother, it shall be buried with the mother. Privacy. The right to be left alone or be apart from others. This right is guaranteed by most civilian states' laws and infringed also and bills of rights. The patient has the right to every consideration of his privacy concerning his own medical care program. Case discussion, consultation, examination, and treatment are confidential and should be conducted discreetly. Those not directly involved in his care must have the permissions of the patients to be present. The right also includes privacy of one's thoughts, opinions, and physical presence, and privacy of one's records. Informed consent. The patient understands that the reason for the proposed intervention with its benefits and risks and agrees to the treatment by affixing his signature in the consent form. It is generally contains the following elements: disclosure, understanding, voluntariness, competence permission giving. In our present jurisdiction under the 1987 Constitution, the age of majority is 18 years old. It means that the only 18 years old and above can sign for themselves in legal matters such as the singing of consent, hospital admission, contracts, will, etc.